9 rings were gifted to the race of men, who above all else desire power.
My old ring. Oh, I should very much like to hold it again one last time.
Because that's what he is, Mr. Frodo. There's naught left in him but lies and deceit. It's the ring he wants. It's all he cares about. You have no idea what it did to him. What it's still doing to him. I want to help him, Sam. Why? Because I have to believe he can come back. You were not so very different from a hobbit once, were you? Smeagol.
What did you call me?
That was your name once, wasn't it? A long time ago.
Have any friends? Nobody likes you. Not listening. Not listening. You're a liar. And a thief. No. Murderer. Go away. Go away!
It sucks, but to spend time wondering why someone is successful and hating on someone for being successful, it doesn't do any good. It's like, what is that old expression that jealousy is, it's a poison that does the opposite of its intended? It doesn't affect the other person at all, but it poisons yourself.
Yeah.
It wastes your energy and time.
It just is so, it's so indicative that you are insecure.
Yeah.
And to cover the major points of analysis in Kaczynski's manifesto. This video will explore his psychological deconstruction of contemporary leftism, which he identifies as symptomatic for the deeply troublesome state of our society. The second video will highlight his assessment of the negative relationship between technology and human freedom. Kaczynski defines contemporary leftists mainly as socialists, collectivists, politically correct types, feminists, gay and disability activists, animal rights activists, and the like. What these fragmented groups all have in common, though, are two psychological tendencies: feelings of inferiority and over-socialization. The former is a trait that is often found in hypersensitive minority rights activists who seek to radically limit speech that they deem to be offensive. He identifies low self-esteem and powerlessness as the origin for these zealous positions. To find up-to-date examples for this sort of behavior, one must look no further than to Black Lives Matter or LGBT activists who continually obstruct discourse in the name of social justice. The most extreme activists among them are overwhelmingly university-educated, white heterosexual upper-middle-class males who defend minority groups precisely because they see them as inferior and therefore identify with them. He attributes a postmodern mentality to them as they constantly deconstruct anything that is strong, good, and successful, such as Western civilization itself. Leftists lack confidence in their own ability and therefore seek to construct a society in which the state takes care of everyone. The concept of competition goes against their intrinsic nature because they feel like losers. Leftists fight against the fabric of reality itself because they cannot bear the fact that human behavior and abilities are genetic. Any group that ends up in an inferior position within society therefore is not to be held accountable for their actions, but rather society at large. Kaczynski concludes that leftists have a deficit in their sense of power and self-worth, but they can still conceive of themselves as having the capacity to be strong. This, however, is only the case in the framework of large movements or groups because the leftists cannot conceive of themselves as individually strong and valuable. A perfect example for this would be Antifa, a terrorist organization that engages in street violence, but only in the context networks of large anonymous groups. The high levels of hostility present in the leftist activist type are intended to satisfy their emotional needs for power. This became apparent during the American race riots this year, in which Antifa was heavily involved. Acts of violence and destruction in the name of racial justice actually create more hatred towards the group in whose name these acts are committed. The leftist activists do not believe in the surface level issues they purport to care about. They are merely a way for them to cope with their frustration. As Kaczynski put it, if our society had no social problems at all, the leftists would have to invent problems in order to provide themselves with an excuse for making a fuss.
Bluntly suggests is a metaphor for the white man. The white man, we are told, is dying, symbolized by Walt's terminal lung cancer. More, he finds himself a racial stranger in the world he once knew, reflected in the white family's address on Negro Arroyo or Black Stream Avenue, a symbolic juxtaposition that hints at American demographic trends, as the white family are swept along by a black stream. Rendered passive and domesticated, and reduced to a life of servitude, Walt can do nothing but wait for the end. His future, the white man's future, seems hopelessly bleak. Faced with this inevitable decline and death, Walt lashes out at the world around him, rejecting the confines of the bourgeois morality that had shaped it, and for the first time choosing to harness his hitherto untapped creative power for his own gain. In order to effect this transformation, he becomes Heisenberg.
Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark, I need your homework, sir. You never have your homework.
I was just getting my homework.